Bonjour. Hello. My name is Rubaduka. I publish a website called lafrique.com, and today I would like to speak with you in English about the parallels between two tyrants, one Ivorian, one German, one who fell in the year 2011, and one who fell in the year 1945. Both of these tyrants, the Ivorian tyrant Laurent Gbagbo, and the German tyrant Adolf Hitler. I'd like to discuss the parallels between these two dictators. Both of them had many similarities, and in particular when it came to their wars and their genocides and their recruitment and brainwashing of fanatical supporters, as well as their final fall, which involved hiding in a bunker. There are just so many parallels between these two dictators. During the Ivorian Civil War, which went roughly from February to the end of April or the beginning of May of 2011, I produced dozens or hundreds of posters and put them on my website, which also has the address ivoirienne.com or ivoirienne.com in English, but it's or better not say that, ivoirienne.com. Anyway, I published these posters on the website to try to discredit the tyrant, to show people that he should not be shown any respect, and that really the only thing for him was to either assassinate him or at least to defeat him in war, but definitely not to show him any respect whatsoever. So let me jump over to some of these posters that I've been talking about. Let's see here. This is a screenshot of my website. Here, this is from an article from the 4th of December, just about 5 days after the election, the 28th of November. At that time, the 4th of December, if you go back and you read the articles in the newspapers and you listen to the so-called experts, no one was really saying what was happening. People were just talking about the details of the election, who's benefiting from this little detail or who's benefiting from that little detail. For example, there was a lot of discussion about whether time was on Gbagbo's side or Ouattara's side, talking about, just go back for yourself and look at the articles from that time period, but the point is, no one was talking about what was really going on in the simplest terms. In fact, I think that sometimes even a simple but terrible thing, people try to make it kind of complicated because they don't want to look at the fact of it. But I did look at the fact of it, and basically, in my assessment, there was a tyrant who had stolen an election, and the simplest thing for it was to kill the tyrant. Not very complicated. Of course, no one else was saying that. I was the only one saying that at that point. And I was very happy to have all of my domain names to back me up at that time. On the right side of the screen, you can see some of the domain names, which included ivoirienne.com and ouattara.com, as well as lafrique.com. Okay, this is a poster from the Ivorian Civil War that I made in March, before the offensive, the Republican offensive, which brought their legitimately elected president to power. But in this poster, it says, basically it's an image of a fanatical, brainwashed supporter of Gbagbo beating someone, maybe a northerner, maybe maybe a political supporter of the legitimately elected president. And the top of the poster has a quotation. It's a paraphrasing, actually, of the statement made by the spokesperson of Laurent Gbagbo, the Ivorian tyrant. And in this quotation, the spokesperson says, this is a true thing that he actually said: "Civilians of Ivory Coast, Laurent Gbagbo asks you to arm yourselves, set up roadblocks, and kill suspicious people. Kill the suspicious people." And then down at the bottom I write, let's get rid of the genociders, yopougon.com. Because a lot of these atrocities were actually being committed in the commune of Yopougon, which is the largest commune in the country, of over, I think, 1.5 million people. So anyway, one quick point that I would like to make is that when there's a genocide and people are being very clear, the genociders are being very clear about their intentions, whether it's Islamists in the Middle East who openly declare their intention to kill Jews, or whether it's Nazis who openly declare their intention to kill Jews, whether it's these supporters of Laurent Gbagbo who openly planned their genocide. Anyway, the more open it is, the more people look the other way, the more people make up excuses, and there's just some kind of human tendency to not want to deal with the sheer magnitude of what's going on. So I was kind of proud of myself that at that moment I had the resources to really underline and put the spotlight on this genocide and to say, hey, these people cannot be allowed to do this. Okay. This next poster deals with the guerrilla uprising which took place in Abobo, another commune of Abidjan. And I draw a parallel between Stalingrad, Hitler's Stalingrad, and Abobo. Basically, in both cases, it was urban warfare. The tyrant's forces were unable to dislodge the opponent, the enemy, and the upshot was that it was the turning of the tides, the beginning of the end, and also really shook the confidence of the tyrant's side. After Abobo, after the uprising began in Abobo, really I don't think Gbagbo's supporters had nearly the confidence that they had had before that. Here we have a poster where it says Blitzkrieg 1940 to 2011. On the left side you have Erwin Rommel, a master of the Blitzkrieg who was at the point of the spear of the German invasion of France in 1940, and then also used the Blitzkrieg to great effect in North Africa against various Allied commanders there. Basically what the Blitzkrieg involves is a lightning advance piercing through the enemy's lines and not really concerning yourself with mopping up all of those front lines, but to push on very quickly, to penetrate deep into the opponent's territory. Deep penetration, narrow and deep penetration, and then pushing out the shoulders from that point. But the focus is on pushing deep, not on width, but on depth. The logic being that even if you don't have a wide advance, you are putting the enemy into a state of panic, because when they hear that, oh my god, they're already 200 miles behind us, it saps their will to fight, because they feel like, my god, if we can't even prevent them from that deep penetration, we're finished, and it leads to panic. Erwin Rommel, of course, was assassinated by Hitler because he was suspected of trying to kill Hitler. So Erwin Rommel is remembered as being a master of the Blitzkrieg and as being someone who stood against Hitler in the end anyway. Here we have my wanted poster for the tyrant Gbagbo. I was the first person on the internet to create a poster and then to publish it. And my poster here eventually made its way all over Facebook, in addition to being on my website, ivoirienne.com. It's a poster but deals with brainwashing of fanatical supporters. On the left side you see the Hitler Youth. On the right side you see the leader of the so-called Jeune Patriote, or Young Patriots, led by the idiot Blé Goudet. And this basically, the translation says, egotistical boys who play soldiers and massacre scapegoats, while the city dies of hunger, and while the psychopathic tyrant hides in a bunker and prepares his defense, whether it be the defense before the International Criminal Court or whether he's actually preparing his suicide. And indeed, Gbagbo ended up in a bunker just like Hitler. And here I am, this is another poster. This is from the days when see, I'm slipping of the tongue, when Gbagbo was in his bunker, and I said, just smoke him out, like a rat. This is a poster where I underline the atrocities of the tyrant, where his fanatical supporters were burning the people that they thought were either from the north or of the wrong religion or the wrong ethnicity, or simply supporters of the legitimately elected president. This one kind of speaks for itself, taking the face off of one of Hitler's henchmen and put Gbagbo's face on there. This is a poster underlining yet another parallel between the two wars, the Second World War and the Ivorian Civil War. Basically, in the tyrant's final days, when his army had been worm-eaten by ambushes, in both cases the tyrant then armed the old or the sick, people that normally wouldn't get into the army, and he distributed weapons to these people, untrained, brainwashed fanatics, some of them. And this is a poster saying, look, this is really not gonna work. It is an outrageous, desperate attempt to cling on to power for a couple more weeks, and you're just sending off these people to die. Really inexcusable. Okay, now this is not my poster. This is the poster of Conan, my friend Conan Didier Yao, and he made a number of very funny posters that I'm about to share with you. Here is Gbagbo with the Hitler salute. Gbagbo as Charlie Chaplin, who was making fun of Hitler back in the 30s. Another one of Gbagbo as Hitler, and this is just how Conan spells his name to give him proper credit for that. And if I can get back to camera view, there we are. Alright, it's been my pleasure to share a few minutes with you talking about the parallels between Gbagbo, the Ivorian tyrant, in the Ivorian Civil War of 2011, and Adolf Hitler, the German tyrant of 1933 through 1945. Looking at some of the posters which appear on my website, lafrique.com. It means Africa.com, basically, for those of you who only speak English. Lafrique.com. Okay, I hope to see you at my website. I do have an email address. It's visible there. If you'd like to partner with me, I am seeking partners or sponsors. I think that there's a lot of work that can be done promoting African tourism in particular. Thanks again for sharing this time with me, and I hope to see you again soon.